With this workflow, you can drop short form videos into a Google Drive folder that you want to automate. You can set a schedule when you want this automation to run and forget about it. The workflow will post all of your short form content based on that schedule to Instagram. I'll click here to test the workflow and we can watch it run through. Downloading that file, OpenAI will write the caption, we'll host it in Airtable and send that on to the Facebook Graph API where it will then post to Instagram. There we go. Workflow has executed successfully. Let's take a look at my Instagram. So this is actually my testing account where I could dump a bunch of automations. You can see my previous post right here. I refresh my page and there is my newest post, the one that was just posted via the n8n automation. We can open it up, see that it was posted 40 seconds ago with an AI generated caption, and we have these hashtags relevant to my niche in there just like that. This is actually a very simple workflow, and the focus of this video will be to show you how to set up your Meta app to get the Facebook Graph API credential and be able to post to Instagram with n8n. I will be showing you step by step how to set up your Meta developer app and get your permanent Instagram API credential. That'll be the focus of this video, but I will put a link to all of my other supplementary tutorials. You'll see that link pop up, and that's when you can take a look at those other tutorials for setting up credentials like Google Drive, OpenAI, and stuff like that. If you like my YouTube videos and want to support what I'm doing, I have the link to my school community in the description of this video. Once you join the community, you'll have access to all of my n8n workflows, all of my automation templates and documents, AI prompts, all kinds of resources over there. If you want to check that out, that helps me out a lot. But in the meantime, let's jump straight into this. All right, let's jump right into it. Here I am in my saved digital automation diagram workflows project. I'm going to come up to create a new workflow. Let's click the plus to create the first trigger node. Anytime you want to find a node in n8n, you can type in the search bar. Let's search for Google Drive. I'll type in Google, find the Google Drive node. Click on that, and we want this trigger node on changes involving a specific folder. Now you're going to need to set up your credential with Google Drive. I have the link to my school community in the description of this video. If you want to hop over there, join my school community, you'll have access to all of my supplementary tutorials like that, showing you how to set up your credentials with all of these different services. Got a bunch of tools and resources over there. Go ahead, set up your Google Drive credential. If you want to figure it out on your own, you can click into this drop down, click on create new credential, then open the docs here. This will open the n8n documentation where they'll show you how to create all of the connections to all of these services here. As I mentioned in this video, we're going to be focusing on how to create your Meta credentials to use the Facebook Graph API so that we can post to Instagram. We're going to get through all of the Meta developer stuff in this video. I'll walk you step by step how to do everything with Meta, but for the Google Drive credential, I'll leave that up to you. So I'm going to choose my Google Drive credential here, and we're going to come down to choose the folder that we want to automate. Let's take a look at my actual Google Drive folder structure. Here I am in my drive. I'm in the actual folder in my Google Drive that I created that I want to automate. And I've went ahead and dropped in some short form media here that we can post to Instagram. Now, one very important step here, I'm going to back out of this folder and we can see these two folders that I have for posting to Instagram. Any folder that you want to automate, we're going to be automating this video folder. Just as an example, you can right click, create a new folder, name it whatever you want, and automate any folder you want. I'll go ahead and just delete that one. Anytime you automate a folder, that folder has to be shared publicly for n8n to utilize. The way you share your folder, you can click on that folder, come over here, click on share. Under general access, you can drop this down, change it from restricted to anyone with a link. Now that's a public viewed folder that n8n can access. I'm gonna click done. Now I want to get the link to this folder. So I'm gonna come back into the folder, double click on it. You can see my two files here. I'm just going to copy this URL. Let's jump back into n8n. Now to select the folder, we can say from the list and search for it. Or if we drop this down, we can say by URL. Then I'll paste in my folder URL right there. Under watch for, drop this down, choose file created. Anytime a file is created inside of this folder, this Google Drive trigger will run. So we can go ahead and fetch test event. It's important to make sure you actually have some some files in your folders before you test it. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen. You'll get an error saying there's nothing in this folder. So I do have those 2 files in my Google Drive folder. So I'll hit fetch test event. That will test this node, run this node, and you can see we've got this file coming through. So I'm going to switch from the table view in the output here, switch to the schema view, and we can see all of these elements coming from my actual Google Drive folder. Now to get out of this node, we can click anywhere outside the node or come up here, click back to canvas. That'll take us back to our canvas space. You can see the Google Drive trigger has turned green with a check mark saying we've got 1 item coming through. So you can click and drag around your workspace. I'm just going to slide over, click the plus to create the next node. It's going to be Google Drive. I'll type in Google Drive, find the Google Drive node, and we want to download a file. Click on that. And in the input view, we can see we have the Google Drive trigger bringing us through the information from that file that it went and grabbed. I'm going to switch this view to the schema view and all of those elements listed out just like that. In our Google Drive download node, we can select the same credential you created in the last step. I'll choose my same credential. We want to check the operation, download a file, and we can select the file here. I'm going to click into here and change this to by ID. Let's scroll down in the input and find the information about our file. We want to find the spaces array. Here it is, spaces. We can see that file name coming through. You can double check your file right here with that file name. We want to get the file ID right here. Drag and drop that into this section, link that up and test the step. And now we can actually download that file to our computer just like that, hitting that button right here. I'm going to switch this view again to the schema view, and we've got all of those same elements coming from the Google Drive trigger node being downloaded into n8n. So I'm going to click outside of this node. I'm going to come up to save the workflow, click the plus to create the next node, type in OpenAI, find the OpenAI node. You can use any LLM you want. I use OpenAI, so I'm going to continue with OpenAI. Going to message a model. The way that I actually run this automation, the very simple automation to post your videos to Instagram, right? And this AI is going to generate the captions for you. The way that these captions are getting generated is with this OpenAI node. This OpenAI node is taking the name of our file and turning it into a nice caption, taking the context of that file name and rewriting it as a nice caption to post to Instagram. So an important point to make here is you should name your files for this workflow to run and work nicely. You should name your files what you want your caption to be. So in this case, my file name is Exciting Expansions Discovering More with Fal.ai. So this is a short clip about using Fal.ai API. And this OpenAI node is going to write a caption based on this prompt right here. Essentially, your prompt being the name of your file. Name your short form video files, what you want your caption to be for Instagram. Okay, so that is what this node is going to do. Let's set it up here. We got to get your credential. Same thing as Google Drive. You need to set a credential with OpenAI. I have the tutorial in my school community. If you want to jump over there, again, you can check out the link in the description of this video. So I'm going to set my credential here, come down to model and choose a model, click this drop down. And for ChatGPT, we're going to use GPT-4o mini. For the text, let's change the input view to the schema view. We'll scroll down to the spaces array, find the file name, and drag that file name into the text. That's going to be our prompt to create this caption, right? We're going to add an assistant prompt down here. So for the text, we have the role of the user. Click add message. We're going to add another role. Click into there. We'll take on the role of the assistant. And for this text, paste the prompt that I have in here. Now I'm going to go grab that prompt from my school community. So here I am in my digital automation diagram school community in the classroom section. I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. Let's find the docs and refs and AI prompts course module. And in my AI assistant prompts section here, we can scroll down and find the file name caption writer. So this very simple prompt, I'm just going to copy this one, paste it right in here. Now I'll expand this out for you so you can see it and copy it. I'm going to turn this field into an expression field. Click on expression, then expand that field. Click on the expansion button, and we get that nice blow out of that field. So go ahead, copy that prompt. You can tailor this prompt prompt to your needs, get it to write a caption that you want for your Instagram page, but it's very basic. You are skilled at writing detailed captions based on a file name. Write a clear and engaging caption, right? So I'm going to click outside of this expression field, click on test step, and there's our new caption. Explore the new features of the file.ai API in this video. Discover how these updates can enhance your project and streamline your workflow. We'd love to hear your thoughts. How do you see these tools fitting into your work? Share your insights in the comments. Pretty great caption for a simple post. I'm going to click outside of this node. All right, click the plus to create the next node. The next node is going to be Airtable. I'm going to search for Airtable in the search bar, find the Airtable node, and what we need to do here is create a record. Click on that. Now you're going to need to create an Airtable account. I have the link to Airtable in the description of this video. You can click on that link, set up a free profile, and get working with Airtable right away. Now, the reason we're using Airtable here is because the Meta API needs a publicly accessible URL to be able to post to Instagram. Just a Meta thing. There's no way of working around it. We need to host our files, host our URLs somewhere online in a publicly accessible place so that we can actually use the API to post to Instagram. And according to Meta, those public URLs can't be from Dropbox or Google Drive. So we have to send our Google Drive folders somewhere else, host those files there, and get that public URL and pass it on to post to Instagram. So I'm going to jump over to Airtable. Here I am in my dashboard. I'm going to create a new Airtable base. Click on create, click on start from scratch. This is going to be a very simple base, but what we can do is close down all the getting started stuff. I'll close that out. I'll rename this base to IG Reels pass through, something like that. We're just passing on URLs. Same thing for the table here. I'll just call this media or something like that. Anytime you want to rename anything in Airtable, you just double click on it and that lets you rename something. So what we need to do here, we have a name field and we have a notes field. Let's double click on the notes field and rename it to caption. We can store our captions coming from the OpenAI node into Airtable here. Click save. Now these other two fields, I'm going to delete them. I'll click on these fields, holding shift on the keyboard, right click on one of them and say delete two fields. Let's add a new field in here. Scroll down and find the URL field. Click create. And now we have a URL. So we'll get the file name, the caption, and the URL stored in Airtable. Now, last thing I'll do here is click the check boxes on all of these records, right click on one of the records and say delete all records. Now our Airtable base is set up and ready to go. Let's create our access token for Airtable so we can drop that into n8n. I'm going to come up here to my account settings, click on Builder Hub. You're going to want to find your personal access token section under developers. Click on personal access tokens. You can see a list of my access tokens here. Come up to create new token. Let's name your token IG Reels demo. You can name yours whatever you want. Now we need to add some scopes for n8n. So click add a scope, choose data records read. Click add a scope, data records write, click add a scope, choose schema bases read, click add a base. Now we can scroll down and find that new Airtable base you just created. There's mine IG Reels pass through. Click create token. That is your access token. You're going to want to copy this, keep this safe. You're only going to be shown this token one time, so make sure you copy it and write it down. I'm going to copy that token, click done, and you'll see that new token appear in your list here. I'm going to jump back into n8n and we can create a new credential with that token. Click into this drop down, click create new credential. Make sure you're on access token, paste that access token right there. And now we can name this token. I'll name mine IG Reels demo. You can name your credential whatever you want. Then click save. Connected, we've got our new credential set up. So let's go ahead and choose the base from the list. Drop this down, choose your new base, choose the table. We named our table media. Now we have the columns coming from Airtable, the name field, caption field, and URL. So let's go ahead and drop in these schema. For the name, let's find the file name. I'm going to scroll down, find the spaces array, and drag and drop the file name right there. The URL, you can scroll up and find the web content link from Google Drive. Drop that into the URL. And for the caption, we can scroll up and find our OpenAI node. We're going to take the content from our OpenAI node and drop that into the caption right there. Click test step. And just like that, we've got all of our information in Airtable. I'm going to jump back over to my Airtable base. We can see that media has come through, the file name. I'll just expand this out so we can see it, caption, and the URL. So once again, we are using Airtable as a hosting service to host your URLs so that Meta can use the public URL to post via the API. We need to host our files publicly, and they cannot be from Dropbox or Google Drive. Again, that's just a Meta thing. We have to follow that rule. Great. I'm going to jump back to n8n. Let's click outside of this node. I'll slide my workflow down a little bit, save it, and we can start the hard part. Let's click the plus to create the next node. Type in Facebook, and we want the Facebook Graph API. All right, now we need to create our credential for this Facebook Graph API. This is going to be quite tedious. Stick with me on this. We'll make it through it and get our credential for Instagram. So a couple things we need to do. First, I'm going to open up my Meta Business Suite. If you've never gotten into your Meta Business Suite, you can search business.facebook.com. That'll bring you to the Meta Business Suite. Now you're going to need a couple things in here. We need to create a business profile. If you haven't done any of this, I can walk you through it really quickly. However, you'll find the tutorials on setting up a Facebook page and connecting it to an Instagram page in my school community. You can watch those tutorials if you haven't set up a Meta Business Suite. But basically up here, we're going to have our business portfolios. And inside of your business portfolios, this is my digital automation diagram business portfolio. You have your assets. We can see my business assets right here. And those are Facebook pages and Instagram accounts. So I have my digital automation diagram Facebook page connected to my digital automation diagram Instagram account. It's all run through the Meta Business Suite. This is the platform where you can schedule your content, see your insights, access your inbox, monetization, ads, stuff like that. What we're going to focus on is actually creating your Meta app and getting that credential hooked up to n8n. Let's go do that. What you want to come to next is the developers.facebook.com. You're going to register as a Meta developer. Once you come to this website here, you'll be able to register as a developer. Now, by the way, everything you do with Meta, you have to have a personal Facebook account. You can't do anything with Meta for your business without a personal Facebook account. Your Facebook account is basically your identity. It's your key to access all of the business tools inside of Meta. So you need a personal Facebook account, but when you connect everything up, you'll only be connecting up the relative business accounts you want to connect, right? So go ahead and register as a Meta developer by logging in with your personal Facebook. Then you'll be able to come up here and click on My Apps. And this is a list here of the apps I've created. I've got a couple testing apps here for recording these YouTube demos. You're going to want to click on Create App. I'll go ahead and name this app. Let's name it n8n video testing posting auto, something like that. Just something to distinguish it from my other app names. You can name your app whatever you want. I'm going to click next, come down, click on other, click next, choose business, click next, and click create app. You'll be prompted again to log in with your personal Facebook account. And just like that, congratulations, you are a Meta developer. Let's get some products into your new app. So this is your app up here, your new app ID, and we have the app mode up here. We're going to set that to live in just a minute. Let's go ahead and add the Instagram product. Click on setup. Now we can see in the left side under products, we have Instagram in our app. Let's jump back up to app settings. Click on that, choose basic, and we need to enter in this information here. Now this is going to be a pitfall for some people. We actually need a privacy policy for this app. We need a terms of service for this app, and we need user data deletion instructions. instructions, basically where users can go to delete their information from your app if they choose to do so. We need instructions for that. This is all things we need if we were developing a real app to use as a meta developer. So since we only need this to automate with n8n, we don't really need all of this stuff, but we're going to have to put it in here anyway. So I'm going to put a link to the tool that I use to generate my privacy policies and terms of service. I'll drop that in the description of this video. So I'm going to jump over to that tool. So this is the tool right here. You'll be able to generate your privacy policy terms and conditions. And we actually use the privacy policy generator to create those user data deletion instructions. So you can click on one of these, start generating your privacy policy. It's going to prompt you basic information, walk you through the whole thing on generating those policies. I'm going to go ahead and jump into my agreements and policies up here. Find my privacy policy I already generated. Click on download and I'll copy my privacy policy. Let's jump back into the Meta Developer app. I'll paste my privacy policy right here. Jump into terms feed. I'll go back, find my terms and conditions, copy that, come back into the app, paste my terms of service one more time back to terms feed. And I have this second privacy policy for my user data deletion instructions. I'll just download that and copy it, jump back into the app and paste those deletion instructions right there. Come down, save changes. Now that we have those 3 items, we can flip our app to live. You now have a live app in Meta. Cool. So that's all we need. I'm going to jump back into the Meta Business Suite. Again, this is where we can manage all of our profiles. So I'm going to come down to settings, and in the sidebar over here, I'll come to system users. I'll find me, the system user. I'll click the little key icon right here and see what I have access to. So this is everything that I have access to as a system user. My 2 Facebook pages, my main page, my testing page, and the connected Instagram accounts, my main Instagram account and my testing Instagram account. So we need to get access to our new app that we just created. Let's come down to apps, and this is a list of all your apps. Now we need to get our new app into this list. Let's click add, connect an app ID, and we can paste in our app ID right here. Let's jump back over to the Meta app and we can paste our app ID. It is here at the top. It is also here in the basic app settings. I'm going to go ahead and click on this app ID to copy it, jump back into Meta Business Suite, paste that app ID right there and click add app. There it is. My new app, n8n video testing, posting auto. These names are just getting longer each time. Close that window. I'll refresh this page and there is my new app. I'm going to click on that new app. Now we can see one person is already assigned to that. That's you. Let's go ahead and click on assign people. Now we can see you are already assigned, but we want to assign you as the system user. So my name here, Kirk already assigned. We want the system user assigned. Check that box there. Click on full control, manage app, and click assign. Click done. And now we have your name listed here twice under people with full control. So let's jump back into system users. Let's click on this little key and under app, we see the new app connected right there. Now let's go ahead and generate a token. Choose your app. I'm going to choose my new app right there. Click next. This is it, guys, right here. This is what we're doing all this work for, to get a token that never expires. That's the goal. When you generate tokens to use the Instagram API, they usually only last 60 days. So you have to come create a new token, do this entire process again and again, unless we take all the steps that we did to get this never expiring permanent token. That is the goal. Let's click on that, choose never, click next. We need to assign permissions to access Instagram. Basically, we can assign everything, just add everything in this list. But to streamline it, let's choose business management, Instagram basic, Instagram content publish, manage comments, manage insights, manage messages, and pages show list. Let's go ahead and add publish video, and that should be good. I'm just scrolling back up to double check. Should have 8 options selected and click generate token. There is your Meta Instagram access token. Let's copy that token, write it down, keep it safe, click done. Finally, jump back into n8n. Click this drop down here, click on create new credential and paste that access token right there. Let's go ahead and name this credential IG Reels demo. You can name your credential whatever you want and click save. Connection tested successfully. Congratulations. That was the hard part. Let's finish off this automation. Okay, the way we need to set up this Facebook Graph API node is just based on the Meta specifications. I don't know any of this stuff. It's just what Meta requires to get this thing to work. So you can follow along and enter in what I have here. So for the host URL, we can leave as default. For HTTP request method, drop that down, choose post. For the Graph API version, choose whatever latest version is available to you. The node, this is you. This is going to be your Instagram account ID. So let's jump back into the Meta Business Suite. Let's come down to Instagram accounts, find your connected Instagram account. This is my testing account right here. This is what I want to post to. So I'm going to select this account ID, copy that, jump back into n8n and paste that account ID right there. For Edge, we need to type in media, come down under options, choose add option, select query parameters, click add parameter. For the name, can type in video _ URL. And for the value, let's get that actual URL from Airtable. This is why we need to use Airtable, is for that publicly accessible URL. And for whatever reason, Meta does not allow that URL to come from Dropbox or Google Drive. Let's click on add parameter and type in media type. For the value, in all capital letters, type in Reels. Click on add parameter. For the name, type in caption. And for the value, we can add the caption either from Airtable where we stored it, or we can get the caption from the OpenAI node. I'm going to grab the caption from the OpenAI node, drag the content into the value just like that. Let's go ahead and test the step. There it is, guys. That's what we needed. All of that work for this number right here. Now, I don't really know how the Facebook Graph API works. I don't know how Meta does things, but we are using this Graph API node to set up a container. This container is going to have a sort of package ready to go to send over to Instagram so that Instagram can post. So this first Graph API node is creating a container for our media, and that is our container number right there. So what we can do with this node is click up here and rename this node create container. Click rename. I'll click outside of the node. And this is our last node. This is it here. Click the plus to create the last Facebook node. We can type in Facebook, find the Facebook Graph API one more time. And right away, I'll just name this node post to IG. Click rename. You can use the same credential from the previous node, and you can enter in all the same details I have in here. So it's going to be similar to the node before. For the HTTP request method, drop that down, choose post. We'll choose the latest version of the Graph API. For the node, you can paste in your Instagram account ID. I'll jump back over to the Meta Business Suite, copy my account ID, come back into n8n, paste that account ID right there. For Edge, type in media publish. Under options, click add option, choose query parameters, click add parameter, and type in creation _ ID, exactly like that. For the value, we're going to drop in our container number, our container ID. Click and drag this ID and drop it down right there. That is it. If we click test step, this will actually make that video post to Instagram. Make sure you have the right credentials, everything set up. Once we test that step, it's actually going to make that post for us. So I'm going to jump over to Instagram just to see what I got going on here. Here I am in my testing account. This is my place to make things. You can see I've been testing a lot of posting images and stuff using Isla as the image that I'm posting. So let's check out this last video here. This is from my previous testing. So let's go back into n8n and test that node. Click on test step and I'll get a new video pop up in my Instagram. Let's jump back into Instagram. I'll refresh my feed, and there it is, my new video. It's a duplicate of my last video just because I was testing building out this automation, but there is my new post. Just like that, we can click into it and see the caption that was written by the AI. Congratulations, you are posting to Instagram via automation in n8n. There's a couple tweaks and settings we can make real quick before we end this one. Let's go ahead and add some hashtags. Remember, this is a very simple automation to post to Instagram, just sending quick short form videos straight over with a simple caption and simple hashtags. So we can hard code our hashtags in here. I'm gonna jump back into n8n, click outside of this node. I'll save the workflow, and let's come back into the create container node. We'll double click on it to open it back up. Scroll down to the caption section. Now this is where we're inputting the caption from the OpenAI node. I'm just going to add 2 line breaks and type in my hashtags. There we go. Hard coded my hashtags in the caption right there. Cool. I'm gonna click outside of this node, and we can come down to the Google Drive trigger. We can set up a schedule inside of this Google Drive trigger. This trigger is going to run every time a new file is created inside of that Google Drive folder, but we can set the schedule on when it actually checks when that new file is created. So I'm going to double click on the Google Drive trigger node, and we can see right here, we can change the pull time. Let's set the mode to every day, for example, and we can choose a time here. Let's set the time to 9 in the morning every day. This Google Drive trigger node will run and look for newly created files and grab one of them and pass it through. That means you can load up this Google Drive folder with hundreds of short form videos, and every day on this schedule, it will run, find one video in that folder and make one post. So you can set this on autopilot, load your folder up with whatever media you want, set your schedule, and forget about it. It'll post one video on that scheduled time. So I'm going to set my schedule to every day at 9 o'clock and click outside of the node. Just to test out that functionality, we can still manually run it by hitting test workflow as we've been doing. So I'm going to get into my Google Drive folder. So I went ahead and deleted out all the files in my Google Drive folder. I'm going to drag and drop a new short form video in my video folder. All right, there's my new video in my Google Drive folder. I'm going to jump back into n8n, click on test workflow, and we can watch this one run through. Now, sometimes you might run into this error, and that is fine. Let's just add another node right here. Click the plus on this route, type in wait. Let's add the wait node. Let's set the wait time to 60 seconds. We'll just wait 1 minute for that meta container to be generated before we try and post the video to Instagram. So I'm gonna click outside of the node. I'm gonna come up and save my workflow. Click on test workflow. You can see that file's being downloaded, OpenAI writing the caption, creating that container. Now this node is going to wait 60 seconds just to make sure that container has been created by Meta before we try and post to Instagram. And there we go. After that 60-second wait time, we have posted to Instagram. Let's jump back over to Instagram. Got these 2 videos here. Let's wait for that third one to come through. I'll refresh my page. And there's my new reel, nice and fresh. Let's check the caption and hashtag information. There we go. AI written caption. Discover how to navigate and make the most of our school community. That's what this video is talking about. And we've got the hashtags popping up in there just like that. You can see this video was the one posted 58 seconds ago, the most recent automated video. I'm gonna jump back over to n8n, make sure my workflow is saved, and we have done it. There you have it. Pretty straightforward build. The tricky part is, of course, setting up your Meta developer app, getting that access token so you can use the Meta API for posting to Instagram. As I mentioned, I have the link to my school community in the description of this video. Once you join the community, you'll have access to all of my n8n workflows for free and all the other good stuff I've got over there. Feel free to check that out. I look forward to seeing you in the group, and I'll see you in the next video.